Call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item will be the statement by the Board Vice President, Mr. Steve Majors.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a 60-second moment of silence to reflect, meditate, pray, or engage in any other silent activity. Thank you.
Next item will be the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Brandy Roulette, the Board Clerk.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item will be discussion of the March 8th Board Meeting minutes. Do I have any discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Roulette?
Abstain.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, number 5, discussion and vote on the March 12th Board Meeting minutes. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Roulette?
Abstain.
Mr. Majors?
Abstain?
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Is that the bond sale days? I'm assuming that's what
Oh,
All right.
then I was here. I thought
Um,
that was the.
Okay, next item will be the oath of office. Mr. Roulette,
Yeah.
you and I. You have to read real slow. Be nice.
Get the first part right. I, Steve Allen, right?
I state your name.
I, Steve Allen, hereby declare under oath
I, Steve Allen, hereby declare under oath
that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of a member of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of Broken Arrow Public Schools,
of Broken Arrow Public Schools,
Independent District Number 3
Independent District Number 3
of Tulsa County,
of Tulsa County,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma,
Sorry. To the best of my ability,
to the best of my abilities,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
all of these duties pertaining to said office and obey the Constitution
and obey the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and Oklahoma.
and Oklahoma.
No loyalty oath.
Yes.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America
and the laws of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and the laws of the State of Oklahoma,
and that I will faithfully discharge,
and that I will faithfully discharge,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
during such times
into such time
as I am a member of the Broken Arrow Public Schools Board of Education.
as I am a member of the Board of Education of Broken Arrow Public Schools.
Golf clap?
Out there.
Mr. Allen, I have to ask you, so you've been serving 12 years already?
12 years. Yes,
So you signed up for another.
Great job.
another
4,
5 years.
5.
5 years, so.
Well, I can't, I just want to speak on behalf of me and probably our leadership team and the school district that it's one thing to sign up for volunteer service like this, but an elected position, first of all, elections are stink, let's be real. And the second thing is you all aren't compensated for this. And there is a lot of time and a lot of work that goes into this. So we can't thank you enough. We know that you do this because you love kids and you want to do things even better in Broken Arrow than we do anywhere else in the state. So for that, we truly appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. You know, it's an honor to serve Broken Arrow. You know, my kids are out of school now, but I just owe such a debt of gratitude for what Broken Arrow's done for me as a student here, for what it did for my children, and you know, I could volunteer in other aspects, Big Brothers that I've done in the past, but you know, I think giving back to Broken Arrow is where my heart is, and that's what I want to do. And as long as the citizens will continue to have me, and you all don't run me off, I'm going to continue to serve my best of my ability. And I can tell you that in my 12 years, I have never, ever worked with such a wonderful group of people as I have this Board of Education that we have here today. Sometimes in the past it wasn't so exciting to come to board meetings, and they were pretty tense, but everyone that's on this board, it's really nice to come to these meetings and know that we all have the same common goals, and that's to make Broken Arrow better than it was when we got here. So I just love working with these people and everyone up here, and all of them I consider my friends, and it's just nice, and it makes it easy. It makes it easy to want to go do that volunteer work when you got people, your friends that you're volunteering with. So I just thank each of them for allowing me to serve with them. So and all of you to believe in me as a board member. So I'll make mistakes, and I'll apologize and do better. So, but thank you all for your 12 years of support, and this is not going to be 12 more, I can assure you of that. So, but,
Congratulations, Mr. Allen. I
Thank
tell
you.
you what, I'm glad that the outcome is what it is, and we're excited to have you back on the board and start the next 5 years and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of wonderful things that, you know, we see ahead, a lot of things we've done. So, love having you here, and you've done such a great job so far. So, thank you
Thank
for all
you.
your contribution.
it was
And we expect a lot more coming forward.
Yeah, you're not getting my.
as long as I get paid double what I did last year, Natalie. Okay, pay me double. So yeah. Well, thank you all. Next item, number 7, will be the vote on the board member code of ethics of conduct. We're all adults here. I'm not going to read them out. So, we've read them in the past, and you all have had them. So, I will entertain a motion to approve or disapprove those code of ethics.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Denton?
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Miss Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Next item, number 8. These have been years ago have been pretty hairy, so they're interesting. It's the board reorg, so we'll open it up to what you all want to do for the organization of the board, and we'll move forward from there.
I make a motion that Steve Allen be the president.
I'll second that motion.
There you go. You want it or not?
Okay, thank you.
Here, here.
We have
I
to.
agree.
We probably need to structure the entire board.
Okay.
So,
Well, don't you do it one at a time?
well, we have one action item, unfortunately.
okay.
So,
Well, I agree. I mean, Mr.
Okay,
Allen,
I'll say it again. I say that Steve, I make a motion that Steve Allen be president. I make a motion that Jerry Denton be the vice president. I make a motion that Brandy Roulette be the board clerk. And I make a motion that John Cockrell be the deputy board clerk.
Any arguments?
Everybody
there's
good?
a motion.
No, I think.
I mean,
all you
we can
guys have-
comment or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I agree with that. I think we're in a good position to do that, and I appreciate the, nomination as well, so I'm excited to kind of move to a different step, so.
Whatever the board wants to do. The motion's been called, so if you guys want to approve the motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion and second,
Brandy,
please
you
call the
good?
roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mr. Denton,
Yes.
Mr. Cockrell,
Yes.
Miss Roulette,
Yes.
Mr. Majors.
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Yes. Next item will be summary of
didn't,
achievements.
Hang on.
One
I
second,
gotta-
we didn't get the voting.
Yeah,
There we go. Man, you are ready to go. All right, I like that.
So sorry. Okay, you should be good.
I voted.
Thank you.
Next item, summary of achievements. Mr. Tolomeo.
Good evening, President Allen, Dr. Vinson, members of the board. I'm here to introduce Mr. Justin DeBruin for the City of Broken Arrow. For Rosewood Elementary School, we applied for their the city's Living Green award, and he is here to present you guys with that award and to give you guys some details on that award.
All right.
Thank you very much, Bob. Good evening, Mr. President Allen, members of the board. I'm Justin Bruin, Urbanism and Sustainability Manager for the City of Broken Arrow, and I'm here today to present the Living Green certification to Rosewood Elementary. The City of Broken Arrow is proud to be awarding bronze level certification to Broken Arrow Public Schools for the newly constructed Rosewood Elementary School. The city encourages low-impact development practices on development sites through the Living Green program to reduce impacts of construction on the surrounding environment. These practices are implemented to improve stormwater quality, open space, site aesthetics, and overall quality of life. In particular, we would like to highlight the choice to preserve mature trees, incorporate rain gardens and rainwater cisterns into the school, and the forethought to create a long-term maintenance and operation plan to ensure preservation of these amenities. As a Living Green certified location, Broken Arrow Public Schools has prioritized the preservation and enhancement of our community's natural resources for the future. Thank you for leading by example in the Broken Arrow community. We would now like to present to you the Living Green certification, plaque, and yard signs to display at the elementary school.
I think that's I tell you what, I'm excited about that because, I mean, I think that's a great testament to your all's leadership on the, you know, the building and all the things that you all have brought to Broken Arrow with as the beautiful buildings we have, but to incorporate some of those things that, you know, really make us stand out. I mean, hats off to you all for really leading that charge. And I mean, I commend you and your team. Bob, you guys have done an amazing job, and I know you'll continue to embrace that and make even greater strides towards that in the future, and so that's cool. And I tell you, my kids, just what's so cool is they've just recently went around that school and was looking around. All of their friends were so excited. It cracked me up. I mean, these are these 24 and 26-year-old kids that were so excited about that school. They're like, can we get a tour? You know, I mean, seriously, it just blew my mind because they were so excited about the things that you all incorporated into that school. And it was really, I mean, it made me proud. I mean, it just really kind of blew my mind, though, honestly, to see these young men and women just so, you know, jazzed up about something like that. And so, you know what? That tells me we're doing the right thing. Y'all are doing the right thing. So thank you.
And I just want to have one question. I'm kind of an overachiever, and I noticed you said bronze level.
Yes.
I know. So I'm like, well, so what's silver and what's gold, and how do we get there?
So the way that the Living Green program is set up, again, there's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum status for the various levels of certification, and it's pretty intense. Honestly, bronze and gold level are very high achieving standards. We've never had anything in the past that's been past bronze. So there's 10 different qualifications that would classify the school system or any other development that would be residential or essentially non-residential, so any development within the city. So among those 10, the majority of these criteria were met. Some of the standards that would improve this would be the inclusion of pervious pavement would be one example, which is a very specific standard, of course, to meet for development. But alongside that, honestly, that one criteria by itself elevates you from basically a bronze to a silver. But it is very difficult to meet all the different 10 standards that apply. And some of this, by the time that we're trying to elevate this program in the future and make sure that we make known each one of these categories prior to development actually starting through pre-development meetings through the city. And I think that will make a large difference. So this happened to be one of the applications that was retroactive to development actually taking place. So I think for some of the many construction projects that are coming forward from the city, we can expect to see even higher standards. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on, so if, for example, this building is a bronze, but we continue to make improvements or make changes, can you reapply for the same building if you've made adjustments?
Actually, you could. Yes, that's very true. So this applies to both proposed projects and projects that or sites that already exist. So it would be possible to reapply for a different standard in the future to meet the criteria for whether that's gold or beyond. Trying to think what else I would add to that. I just have to say that in the past 8 years, this is the first award that the city has granted for this program.
So with your standards, though, it's something with Michelle and Bob and their team, as we do construct new sites, now have those available, those standards. We go build a new elementary, the next one, we could meet all of them and be your first ever platinum standard.
Hey, you could. Absolutely.
Because we have
Yes,
them on the
sir.
front end versus building them afterwards and going, well, we got a couple of green things.
Yes.
So, okay.
I think fitting the retroactive process for existing projects or projects already in the works is very difficult. But because we really reinvented this program just in the past 8 or 9 months, these steps and these processes and standards are much more apparent at this point. So I think that looking at new construction and the new standards that we have that apply towards this program, absolutely.
Well, you've seen what they've done there at that school. Just think what's going to happen when they have the standards on the front end and what they're going to be capable of. I mean, that's
I have no
amazing
no
stuff.
doubt about that. Michelle and I have talked about
Do
that.
not doubt Michelle, Bob, and their team. So,
I promise you I don't.
yeah, congratulations though to you all.
Thank
Michelle.
you.
Yes, yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to get mass shamed. So. You know how
Randy,
the
get
city
up there.
council
You're the board clerk.
Go ahead. Dr. Vincent, go ahead.
That's good too, Jerry. You gotta get your picture taken all the time, not just VP.
I'm just kidding. I know.
Every Sunday.
Who starts a diet on a Sunday? You got to start it on Mondays. And then,
No, I say that. I even tried it today.
Then it's like,
I
hey,
made it till about 2.
it's like, hey, what do you do for lunch? You know?
I'm April 2.
I do it every,
And then I wake up Saturday morning, have big breakfast.
Yeah,
biscuits,
as you're getting biscuits and gravy.
bread.
all right. Again, congratulations, Michelle and Bob. Great job. Next item, number 10.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you? She's like a ninja. Sneaky
Stealth.
up there.
President Allen, Dr. Vincent, members of the board, we have had an interim principal at Park Lane ECC since Dr. Jones left us in December. And so I met with the teachers of Park Lane over Zoom during the snowcation. And the teachers really voiced that they are looking for a leader, for someone to bring consistency, collaboration, and really just more excitement for our early childhood programming at Park Lane. And through the interview process, we had some great candidates, but I will say that Dana DeFries really exemplifies all of that. She has served in Broken Arrow as an admin for almost 19 years. And she's worked with even as high as our middle school students. But she will say that our ECC kiddos are her passion, her favorite. And so when I asked Dana to step in as interim in December, she was beyond thrilled for the opportunity, but when she went in, she did not embrace it as an interim. She embraced it 100% all in, just embracing the students and the faculty, and just really, she just started planning immediately about how to make those students know that they have a principal in the building, and she tells some funny stories about the kiddos there, and so you can tell when you just are in there how much they love her. So I would really, I would like to recommend Dana DeFries as the principal at Park Lane Early Childhood Center.
Discussion or questions?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Denton?
Yes?
Mr. Cockrell?
Yes.
Ms. Roulette?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Mr. Allen?
Yes. Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, would you like to stand up? Do you have anything that you'd like to say?
Just if you're ever having a bad day, come see me. It's not possible when you see those little sweet faces.
Love that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Next item, number 11, is reports to the board. Ms. Bergwall.
Good evening, President Allen, Dr. Vinson, members of the board. I bring to you tonight our first capital improvement update, and really kind of let you know the various meetings I've been attending with the city, and to just keep everybody apprised of what's going on in our great city of Broken Arrow. So I'll kind of start, really the first meeting I attended was a planning commission meeting back on March 25th. So I'll start with our planning commission meetings and kind of just give the rundown. So on March 25th at the Planning Commission, a preliminary plat was approved for Brook Chase Phase 1, which is a 44-acre site which will be developed into 150 lots. They changed the zoning from A1 agricultural to RS4 single-family residential. This is at the west of the northwest corner of Washington Street, which is 91st and County Line. The developer of the Washington Lane developments is the developer of this particular development, and we expect the similar price point and quality for this development. The timing of this build-out is unclear at this time. This is in the Rhodes Elementary boundaries and the Sequoia Middle School boundaries. The final plat will go to the City Council, but no date was given for that meeting. There was also a comprehensive plan change and public hearing for the cottages at Battle Creek. This is an 8.79 acre site that will be developed into 50 units. They were changing the change of level 6, so commercial office, to a level 3 single family duplex and townhomes would be allowed on this site with this comprehensive plan change. This is a half-mile north of Albany and a quarter-mile east of Aspen Avenue. So it will be developed into as transitional residential and commercial, which will flank the golf course, the Battle Creek Golf Course. Currently, it is in the Arrowhead Elementary and Sequoia Middle School boundaries, and this will go to the City Council on April 20th for this comprehensive plan change. Any questions on those? Okay, then the April 8th Planning Commission meeting, they had a preliminary plat for Creekside at Forest Ridge. This is a 59.46 acre site that is being developed into 157 lots. This changes from an A1 agricultural to an RS3 single family residential zoning. And this is north of Kenosha, half a mile east of Oneida Road, so kind of out north of the Forest Ridge area. And this is the Forest Ridge developer, so it'll be similar in nature to those developments. The timing of the build out and the price point is unclear at this time, but they will forward us when they have it. This item was on the March 30th TAC agenda, which we'll probably talk about here later. And they just discussed things like PSO wanting underground easements in the front yards instead of the backyards, so they were making some of those changes there. They talked about their lift station and moving it, and this is currently in the Timber Ridge Elementary and Oneida Ridge Middle School boundaries. Okay. They also had, I think I got a little, might have had too many cuts and pastes on my agenda here. Another item we had was the public hearing action PUD for the North Rose Business Park. And the PUD was approved for this 1.58 acre site. And the purpose is to approve or disapprove a reduced rear setback on the back of the property line. This was a one where a building was constructed over the over the setback line, and so they asked to bring that into conformance by changing that setback on that PUD. They did approve that. And then they had another public hearing for the shops at Aspen Creek. But this item got pulled from the agenda. The application was to change from a level 6 to level 6 and level 3, which would allow apartments. And this is down by the Warren Theater in that development there. But the applicant did pull that application, and they are not moving forward on that zoning change. All right, then we move on to Technical Advisory Committee, which is TAC. And what TAC is basically when a property is developing, they get the utilities together. We sit on that committee as the school, and we talk about things like, oh, we need a wider drive, or we want the underground easements in the front yards, not the backyards. And so we just review what's being submitted so that they can make those plan changes. And so the one that I have on there from TAC on March 30th was the Creekside at Forest Ridge. And they just reviewed that and gave their comments on that development. And that was the one with the underground easements in the front yards. Okay, then on April 6th, we had a city council meeting. And our items of interest on that council agenda was they're improving the animal shelter. They're hiring design services for the TIF infrastructure project. They're hiring design for the erosion control in Rushbrook, which was good news for us. Rushbrook has contacted us for years thinking we were flooding their property, and the city and us and Rushbrook met, and we've kind of figured out what was going on, and so the city knows it's theirs to take care of, and they are hiring design services to help those neighbors out. So that helps us in turn because they'll realize that we're not flooding them, which is good. And they approved a concrete road panel replacement bid. They rezoned the old hitching post from A1 agriculture to CN commercial neighborhood. And they approved a specific use permit at the St. Francis facility there across from Sequoia, that one on New Orleans, and allowed them to make some changes in their how they're using that site. I think it has a lot to do with plantings. They required right-of-way along Albany in front of our Vanguard facility, so they had 4 or 5 items on there acquiring the right-of-way that they need to widen that street. They accepted awards or awarded bids for the Knee-High Skate Park, making some improvements there, and they approved a mural to be painted at the museum right over here, which is property that the